Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. It's the American Doofus Show. Don't be a doofus. I'm your host, Barry Walsh. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment if you would. Coming up later on tonight, we will have an EAR episode on economics, how economics impacts race and how race impacts economics. But right now, we're going to look at what could potentially happen tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Well, tomorrow is March 4th. Tomorrow is the day that QAnon supposedly will once again rise. There will be what is known as the swarm. And what will happen is somewhat of a cleansing, if you will, according to their followers. Now, there's not a lot of information that has come out about what potentially could happen tomorrow. My understanding is most communication has gone underground. It is either strictly by telephone, by text, or by a phone app known as Telegraph. I've also been told that there's going to be extra security at the Capitol tomorrow on the 4th as the Senate and the House meet in the United States Capitol. Just in case something does happen. Now, again, we have not heard anything's going to happen. Does that mean nothing's going to happen? No. It doesn't mean something is going to happen. But let's take a listen to a recent CNN broadcast.
In the aftermath of the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, investigators are trying to figure out what happened and how they missed the signs. But one group of Americans did not miss the signs.
That was
me.
They
saw it coming. And they see another violent battle brewing today. You're about to meet a group of 3 former QAnon followers and 3 people whose loved ones are still in the grip of QAnon's conspiracy theories.
Not me.
All of them tell us that the next alarming date comes this week, Thursday, March 4th, to be exact. QAnon has a new plan for violence and destruction, and they don't let reality get in their way.
Now, before this panel begins, I've gone back and forth on this on March 4th. Right after the 6th of January, the White Wednesday, when the uprising, the attempted insurrection took place, it was not Antifa. It was not Democrats dressed up like Trump people. Those are just more lies that are being spread. And when that uprising took place, I immediately looked towards March the 4th because that has been a date that's been tossed around in that realm for a while. After the arrests started happening, I thought there was little chance something could happen tomorrow. After the video we're about to see, I'm concerned something is going to happen tomorrow.
Does anybody understand what is supposed to be happening on March 4th?
So March 4th, they're thinking that Donald Trump is going to come back and he's going to be the president. Apparently, what they said is way back when, it was like 1871, inauguration day used to happen on March 4th. And then Donald Trump will be back and he'll be inaugurated as either the 19th president of the United States Republic or the first president.
Actually, as we've said on here before, but let's just make it clear again. The president was inaugurated on March 4th, all the way up until Franklin Delano Roosevelt in 1933, when they changed it to January the 20th. Okay, so just another one of the mistruths, untruths, lies that have been twisted into all of this.
Of some new something.
They also think that there's going to be this great financial reset, both in our country and around the world, where debts are just going to be forgiven, where if you have a mortgage, you don't owe on it anymore.
It's just so ludicrous, to put it bluntly. I mean, I still have family members that don't even believe that Joe Biden as president.
Charlotte, is it true that one of your sisters does not today believe that Joe Biden is president?
Yes, she tells her daughter that she thinks that the White House is a set and that Biden isn't actually president.
Wow.
Yes, that is mind-boggling.
Well, the person that I started talking to anyways that had initially got me into QAnon, he was like, Joe Biden's not even real. Like, that's why he's wearing a mask all the time, because the fake face that he's wearing, the mouth doesn't move correctly when he talks. So they really believe that Joe Biden is not even Joe Biden.
Okay, so for those of you on the top row who did for a while fall into QAnon, did you ever understand who was running it? Did you ever know who Q was? No. Jay, I mean, did you understand who was feeding this information and like who the ringleader of it was?
No.
I didn't know that I was in a QAnon group until I got out of it. Like, I had no idea that the information I got was QAnon information.
So interesting and so enlightening. The woman on the screen that we've paused on did not know she was in QAnon. None of them had any idea whose ideas they were believing. They're believing this Q person, who I think's identity will probably come out pretty soon. The FBI has been on that trail. There's been nothing posted from Q since December. And again, that's probably wise on Q's part to avoid any more potential connections than he already has to what has happened and to what could come.
So do you guys think that there are particular media types, media personalities who also are a gateway to conspiracy theories and QAnon?
Newsmax, which is a TV station, definitely. Their reportings are really off the wall.
I can remember when Glenn Beck joined Fox News was when my mom became very susceptible to conspiracy theories. She hung on his every word. And then in the more recent years, it's been people like Tucker Carlson.
Definitely stuff like Fox News, One American News, OAN, stuff like this is the easiest way to get into that stuff now.
I found myself, eliminating 98% of media so I could exclusively watch, Fox News.
And there is a wide variety of people involved in this, as you can see. When you only look one way, you only see one thing. That's why they want you to watch Fox News and only Fox News. So you'll only see one thing, and so that you are controlled. We've said this all the time. Always have an open mind, but make sure nobody's feeding it solo. Make sure you're getting other sources. This is how these things happen, and they are incredibly dangerous.
And they tell you, don't go anywhere else. Keep your attention here. If you go to any of these other stations, it's fake news. And that is a huge part of what's radicalizing people.
In my Telegram chats and in my groups, the only outside media sources of getting information other than the group that they ever said we could, trust would have been Newsmax, or there's Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Now, we have no idea how many people are in this situation where they are controlled and only hear one thing. And yet in their hearts, they believe what they're doing is not only right, it is necessary, and it is righteous. And that's incredibly scary, and why we have to be observant as to what potentially could come tomorrow, March 4th.
I don't know if they're actually on TV. I know that they're on YouTube.
Show of hands, how many of you today think that we do have a domestic terrorism and or white supremacy problem in this country? All of you.
Just everything happened with Trump and, just his view on the whole thing. And it just really, ignited that fire of white supremacy and racism.
Now, Trump did not bring white supremacy back. White supremacy has always existed. Trump's presence kind of gave them the green light that it was okay to come out of the shadows. And that's the dangerous part. And that's why so many of them demand that he come back, because they're going to be forced back into the shadows, or there's going to be war.
My concern is that a lot of the threads that weave a lot of these conspiracies together in the Q world are very thinly veiled white supremacy, very thinly veiled anti-Semitism.
When I was in these groups, I was like, no, we're not racist. Like, I'm not sneaking out on Wednesday nights to KKK meetings. Like, so I thought I wasn't racist. Being out of it, I have taken it upon myself to have conversations, and I've bought books and I'm reading and I'm learning. But as far as domestic terrorism, I think QAnon is a domestic terrorist group.
It just seems.
Okay, coming up, one of the ladies is going to talk about how the language they use is coded and how there are keywords. And I can indeed verify what the lady's about to say. She's about to talk about the term that is used for Black people in these organizations, in this particular movement. And that is, they call them Canadians. So it makes them seem less racist, and it makes them seem, makes them, meaning the people calling the names, makes them feel, if you will, less racist, because they aren't using the N word to talk about Black people. They're calling them Canadians. And the meaning is the same. And it quite frankly is repulsive and derogatory, not only to the Black community, but also to our Canadian neighbors to the north. But it's coming up here. And I paused it here because I wanted you to pay attention to this guy.
So what some of the people say, there's a lot of anger and a lot of confusion. I think it's going to get worse. I worry about a lot of violence.
The conversation that's been said in these groups is, when March 4th happens, if Trump isn't back, they need to start planning. And they will switch how they talk and communicate, whether it's online or over the phone. They're going to switch the meaning of their words so nobody can pick up and flag it.
I've already picked up on that.
Do you have any examples of that?
Speaking of a certain group of people that they consider less desirable, they will use the term Canadians.
So they don't like a particular demographic here in America.
Yes.
And they refer to them
Yes.
as Canadians.
Yes.
And is this a particular racial group?
Yes.
Yeah, can I add to that?
Yes.
You have just this huge group of people that feel that their country is in danger, their children are in danger, their freedom is in danger. And so they feel like they have to go to war and they have to fight to get things back right.
I think the biggest thing, that we're looking at, especially coming out of the Capitol riots on January 6th, is that people are emboldened to take matters into their own hands.
I'm trying to warn everybody of what I see that's going to come. And if this group cannot be stopped, and when March 4th comes and goes, we're going to be hoping and praying that they push another date out there, because if not, the insurrection is going to be a drop in the bucket compared to what's going to happen.
I would say that's the chilling part of this. The idea, the message, the uniform message from all of them people who've been on the inside is they think it's going to get worse.
Because our hope was, okay, people are being arrested. So after the insurrection at the Capitol, people are being arrested, maybe without, Trump, goading them on, maybe it will die down. These are people with their finger on the pulse, and they don't think that it's dying down. And they don't hear in the chat rooms and from their relatives who are still in it that anything is dying down.
And look, the former president spoke to CPAC yesterday. His big coming out party was filled with the election lie, with the big lie, and that will be heard.
Indeed, that will be heard. It's been heard. What's going to happen? We're not sure. Tomorrow will come and we will find out. Will it stay online and will be turn out to be nothing but one gigantic rabbit hole that some people are trapped in? But again, we can't, please do not discount the 3 people that were part of the panel that no longer are QAnon, because they've seen and I trust what they're saying. And it's troubling to me, especially the one lady that says she's trying to warn everybody of what's going to come. And she seems to think if something doesn't happen on Thursday, it's going to happen at some point. And that's probably what will end up happening. Probably nothing will happen on the 4th. Nothing will happen tomorrow, probably. And they'll just keep pushing another date out and pushing another event out and pushing something else out. And eventually, hopefully, they themselves and their savior, if you will, become irrelevant. Hopefully Trump and the QAnon movement become totally irrelevant. And we'll see. Only time will tell. Definitely something to think about. It's the American Doofus Show. Don't be a doofus. I'm your host, Barry Walsh. Please subscribe, like, share, comment. And if you want to help the program out, and I hope you do, the Cash App is $ American Doofus, all one word, AMERICANDUFUS. And if you want to contact me, it's American Doofus, all one word, AMERICANDUFUS @gmail.com. Coming up later on this evening, this is Wednesday, the 3rd of March, 2021, will be an EAR episode on the American Doofus Show. It's economics with Star Child and Comedic King. So look forward to that sometime around 9:30 tonight. And then on Thursday, I'm going to be live from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. In case something is happening, we will be reporting it as best we can. And I'm also doing a YouTube-a-thon, if you will. I'm going to try to broadcast 12 hours straight and raise enough money that I can do away with ads in the middle of my episodes. So that's one reason. And just to keep going through the summer, and I need your help to do that. So look for those things to come. And until tonight, at again about 9:30, will be an EAR episode on economics here on the American Doofus Show. I'm your host, Barry Walsh. Thank you again. I love you all. Be blessed. Have a great day.